Welcome to this game between Viktor Korchnoi, 82-year-old Viktor Korchnoi, and Fabiano Caruana. And Fabiano is playing with the white pieces, and Viktor Korchnoi with the black pieces. So Korchnoi is 82 years of age, and he plays incredibly in this particular match, despite of his age. And this is the game between two different generation of chess players, great chess players. So this is the Royal Opus, and after a6, this is the Royal Opus Morpheus defense. Bishop goes to a4, knight f6, d3 is pushed, activating the dark square bishop of white. Pawn push to d6, and c3 is pushed, allowing the bishop a nice little escape square, and also allows you to push the pawn to d4 later on the game. So bishop e7 and castles on the king side. Both the players, rook comes to e1, knight goes to d7. Probably looking to bring the knight here and attack the bishop, and after bishop to e3, knight comes to b6, attacking the bishop here. So bishop now goes to b3 here, basically pinning this pawn. So you cannot push this pawn once this bishop is here. You can bring the knight and attack, but it will just go back. So basically, king moves to h8, unpins this particular pawn, and now you can push this pawn or once or all the way and attack the pawn structure of white. So knight d2, f5, pushing the pawn, and it's only possible because of the king move. And here the bishop captures, the knight is played. The pawn recaptures, doubling up the pawn for Viktor Korchnoi, and bishop now comes to d5, but the best move was to capture this pawn here. So this allows g5 to be pushed here. So g5 and g4 is coming, basically hitting this knight. So h3 is forced by Fabiano, and despite of that, g4 will happen, because once the pawn captures, you can recapture hitting this knight, because the capture didn't happen in this earlier move. So knight goes to h2, and bishop g5 is played here. So here you'll be wondering why you can't capture this particular knight. White cannot capture here, because if you captures this knight like this, bishop will recapture, and once queen recaptures, this particular knight will be gone, and rook will come to e2, and queen, and the game will continue like this. So because of that, capture didn't happen, and knight to c4 is played, getting this knight away from this particular attack of the bishop. So pawn push hits the knight, and knight goes to e3. Bishop captures the knight, where the best move for Korchnoi was push the pawn to h5, but he didn't do that, and rook recaptures, and the position is pretty much equal after 20 moves. So queen f6, hitting the f2 pawn of the Fabiano's king. Queen defends by going to e1. Knight to e7 attacks the bishop, and pawn push to f3 now. So here knight captures the bishop, pawn captures back, doubling up the pawns and creating this particular weakness here, which will be pretty difficult to defend with the available pieces here. Knight is here. The rooks will be very difficult for rooks to, because white's pawns are obstructing that defense. So rook to g8 by Viktor Korchnoi, and queen comes to g3, where the best move was to bring the last rook into the action, but this allows pawn to be recaptures, forcing an attack on the white queen of Fabiano. So he got to capture with his queen, attacking Korchnoi's queen. Now the bishop develops to f5. So here, defending that particular attack, rook comes in, creating double attack on the bishop. This allows Korchnoi to bring his rook up, and after the king moves away, he just brings the queen to h6, pinning the knight here. So after that, rook comes to f2, and Korchnoi just doubles his rook up on the g file, and creates this permanent pressure on that particular g2 pawn. So rook drawbacks to e1, where the best move was king g1, and now Korchnoi is definitely better in this position. Once this triple battery is formed, it's also attacking this pawn here. So here, rook comes, try to defend the pawn, and this pawn is grabbed regardless. So you're wondering why you cannot capture this particular bishop. So if you go ahead and capture it, our next move will be pawn push, and you lose that rook along with a passed pawn, which will be marching down the board, creating more problems for you. So you cannot capture it, and after that, king comes to g1, and pawn push happens regardless, creating this nice little outpost for this bishop, and preventing this king from retrieving through the back rank here. So queen h3, and this again one more pawn is captured. Korchnoi is up by 2 pawns now, and queen comes to d7, trying to attack the weak backward pawns here. But this is a mistake. Rook to g5 creates more pressure here. So pawn push to g4 is played, queen h6, and rook comes in attacking. So here rook to g7 is played, but the best move was to bring the rook to here to h5, which would attack this particular knight. So king, or you cannot bring the rook here, the queen or other pieces will be very difficult to defend as well. So uh, he missed a good move here, and after the rook exchange, rook captures back the check, rook covers the check, and after this queen goes to b6 now. So queen f6 and king goes to b7. Now the best move was rook here to h3, but he didn't do that, allowing for the formation of this battery, and queen comes here. So after this pawn push, this rook now goes to h3, creating checkmate threat, and queen defends, and queen, using this opportunity, the queen goes back to e3. After the capture, recaptures, and queen again recaptures. So he's again up by 2 pawns, and now this pawn chain is formed. Yeah, so after this, g5 is pushed, which is a mistake. Queen a1 plus, king to g2, and another check. And after this position, basically Fabiano resigns again. Why? Because after king g4, the following moves will happen, and these are kind of forced move, and Viktor Korchnoi will win this match. So because of this, Fabiano resigned out of this position, and Viktor Korchnoi won the match. Uh, so this probably was Viktor Korchnoi's last good game, and 3 years later, he passed away at the age of 85. So quite a great game between two generational players, two super GMs from two different generations. So thanks for watching. We'll be back with more such videos.